Welcome back to the Run Radio podcast. My name's Trina, and my guest today is Nick Natarella. Welcome.
Thank you. I am so honored that you even reached out and asked me, hey, do you want to do this?
Hey,
I was like, oh my gosh, yes, I would love to.
I saw what you were doing, and we know each other through radio, and media has just taken on this life of its own. And
Yeah.
I've been really grateful for the turn it's taken because I've been able to talk to people I wouldn't have talked to, and I'm building this platform. We're talking to people about running. We're talking about people about their passions. And I see the passion you have about helping people create good media so they can get their word out.
I hope so. I hope that comes across because, yeah, that is something that, uh, I mean, ever since I got involved in radio, and I mean, I remember a long time ago. I mean, first of all, I started out as an acting major in college. I
Uh-huh.
spent a and that's what taught me, basically, script analysis and putting the emotion into the words and stuff like that. And then I spent a semester in the scene shop actually helping them build the sets for the shows. And I thought, yeah, I mean, I had some carpentry skills. I wouldn't say I was a master carpenter by any stretch of the imagination, but I knew how to keep all 10 fingers by the end of the day. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was a key component, especially at the college level. They don't want to be paying for rehab and reattaching fingers. But so I knew my way around the tools, and I helped out in the scene shop. And I was like, wow, at the end of the day, when you leave a rehearsal, you're like, I'm not sure what I accomplished today. But when you're done in the scene shop, you can stop at the door, turn around and go, that's what I did today.
Yeah.
And I just kind of like that sense of accomplishment. So I got a transfer to the University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign, and it it was eye opening. I wanted to be in the scene shop in a management position. Well, they heard the word management and they stuck me in the stage management program.
Okay.
Now, I had always thought the stage manager was the person who like corrected your lines during rehearsal. Okay. That's all they ever did in high school. But I had no idea what a stage manager was. Well, I took the first stage management class and I was like, oh my gosh, this is even cooler. I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
Oh, neat.
So I just stuck it out. I stuck with it. And I was like, man, this is really cool. And there's a lot more to stage management. The best way to describe it would be, everybody in the show is on a wheel and all the spokes come to the center hub. That's the stage manager. And everything passes through the stage manager wherever it's going. It may start in the scene shop and end up on stage or with the lighting or with the actors or costume department. I mean, all of it, all that coordination passes through the stage manager. So that's where I learned, say, the logical side. There was
Mhm.
the creative side in the acting, and then there was the logical organizational side in the stage manager. And to this day, I really insist on organizing everything in a 3-ring binder. Yes, this is this is the electronic age. But
Yes.
back in the 80s, when I first got started in stage management, everything was a 3-ring binder, about 2.5 inches thick. And I constantly go back to that. But then years passed, I got into radio, and that was pure chance and luck. And I don't know where that ended up taking me. That was the most bizarre relationship to get me in the door. But our company got bought out by a much larger company, and they came in and said, okay, we need to get some people in some seats. And one thing that we did not have was a creative services director. And that's the person who actually writes and produces the radio, especially the local radio commercials. You'll get scripts or you'll get pre-produced stuff from, say, major advertisers like Target or Dunkin' Donuts or Walmart or
Right.
something like that. But, the local folks, they need them written and produced. Well, when I was told, I mean, as a jock, I I did voiceovers and I produced commercials, but I never written one. And
Ah.
then, that situation where you miss the meeting and they make you the chairman of that
you're
committee,
you're voluntold. Voluntold.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That happened to me.
Nice.
Everybody was like, the new company was like, so who's the most creative, most organized person? Because those are quite the opposites. Okay.
That's a
And
lot
everybody
to.
just kind of looked around and went, okay, so who's not here? Nick. Okay. So I became the creative services director. Well, I didn't know anything about writing commercials. So I double clicked on, and I opened I opened up Yahoo and did a quick search on how to write a radio commercial,
Oh my goodness.
and all of a sudden I discovered this stuff called copywriting,
Yes.
and I absolutely fell in love with it, and I was like, oh my gosh, we're doing this all wrong. And it was quite an aha moment, and frankly it revolutionized our thinking in the sales department and on the radio station, and being able to tell stories and things like that, and making them the commercial.
Yeah.
And it was just so much more fun. Well, let's fast forward 20-25 years, and all of a sudden this little thing called COVID comes along,
Right.
and everything shut down. Radio is pretty much a B2C type of medium when it comes to advertising. If you have a brick and mortar, or if you have a place for consumers to come, it's not a B2B medium uh, too much. Um, on exclusive situations, a B2B would be good on the radio, but 99% of the stuff is going to be B2C. So if you've got, a dry cleaner, a pizza place, so anything that the average everyday person walking down the street would like to buy, radio is probably a really good choice for you. Well, that all shut down because all the employees were told to stay home, and all the shoppers were told to stay home. So nobody needed a radio commercial. Well, I'd always been interested in video. I'd always wanted to add that to my repertoire. Well, now's the time to do it. I had plenty of
Yeah.
time on my hands to figure it out.
We're all playing with TikTok.
I'm telling you.
I mean,
And it was like,
ah,
okay, so let's figure this out. Let's figure out the editing. I mean, multi-track editing, when you've got different rows for different things. You got the voiceover, you got the music, you got sound effects, you got maybe a second voice or a third voice. That was not new to me.
yeah.
But a couple extra tracks that had some visual things on it, okay, hopefully that'll shorten the learning curve. And then one day, and I was always trying to put stuff together and synthesize things, and what hit me all of a sudden was, I've been following other creatives and other businesses and marketing and video marketing and audio marketing, and podcasts were all the rage. Everybody and their brother started a podcast since they were sitting at home in their living room. And then the video all of a sudden kicked in, and I was like, okay, well, this is cool. I like this, and I'm learning how to edit and record. And then all of a sudden it hit me: if you SEO it properly, a business YouTube page followed up by a podcast can easily spin into your blog articles
Hmm.
for virtually no extra work. If you press record, pretty much the three of those things fall into place for you. Now there's a way to approach it correctly, and being able to talk about, we don't want to turn it into, say, a 30-minute episode about your business. That's not the
Hmm.
purpose. You need to teach people how to be most effective with your product or service or whatever, how it's going to help them, and how it's going to solve some problems for them, make their lives a lot easier, help them sleep at night. I mean, whatever the issue may be, it when it finally starts to fall into place, and people go, oh my gosh, now my retirement is funded, or oh my gosh, this is the best. I never thought I could lose this weight before. The best way to describe it is, if you've written a book about your industry, or maybe your particular method in your industry. For example, let's talk about a financial planner, a very easy financial planner to discuss. Let's say you've come up with your 5-point method of investing. Okay.
Okay.
And you've written a book about it. That is a perfect segue into the whole YouTube, podcast, blog um, uh, method, the whole technique that I use. Now, if you haven't written a book,
Hmm.
but you've been in the industry, you've been doing what you're doing for years now, that's the same. The only difference between a book and not having a book is the plain and simple fact that you've organized it and written it down.
Yeah.
Chances are you've got all that knowledge, especially if you've been a financial advisor for 5 to 10 years, or let's say you've you're a health and wellness coach, or maybe a life coach, or anything along those lines. You've got your own particular workout routines that really work, or maybe a nutritionist, or maybe you teach about raising kids or something like that. If you're a parenting expert, all of that is perfect, perfect for this particular method. And like I said, you SEO it correctly, you don't even have to worry about paying for ads because people find you. And it really is a phenomenal way to launch. You've got this trident, this three-prong approach,
Yeah.
between video and audio and blogging, that just takes over the internet. And people find you, and people come to you, and people are like, you know what, I don't have time for all that, but you could do it for me. Well, yeah, we could do it for you. That's why we're here.
Talk to me a little bit about SEO, because I read constantly how important that is. I've got a plug-in on my blog site that gives me the happy face if I'm doing it right.
Right.
I usually get a sad face, and I get to that point where I'm like, I'm trying to convey my feelings, this, deep blog post. I don't feel like I want to do the buzzwords just to get the SEO happy.
Right.
So where do you find that balance of writing what you want to say from the heart and then making the SEO happy?
Well, it's kind of a two-pronged approach. Number one, what you're talking about is a little bit different.
Okay.
What the technique that we use, that I use, is you go to your SEO program first.
Okay.
Okay. And let's go back to the financial planner example. Okay. One of the things that they'd like to be found for is the term financial planner. You know how many searches there are per month for financial planner? You know how many results you get for financial planner? Those are very, very broad terms.
Yeah. Right.
But when you drill down a little bit, you start to find some really specific things. Think of it this way: as a friend of mine, Nate Woodbury, calls it his leaf technique. And I just absolutely love it. Your tree trunk is your base of knowledge, and that's your
Okay.
financial planner. Your branches are stuff like stocks, bonds, mutual funds, annuities, all the things that can make up an investment portfolio. And way out at the end of those branches are these little tiny leaves. And people are specifically searching for these. And what it is they're questions. They're like, what's the best thing to do with a 401k? How do I maximize my Roth IRA? And the longer those questions, the better. And then what you do, with you being in the business for X number of years, you've got an answer to that question, right?
I see. Yeah.
Then you come back and you create a blog post or a video. Video's even better. And I can tell you a little bit about that here in a second. But what you do is you take that title, you take that question, and that becomes your specific title. Do not change a word. Do not change a word of it. Keep it exactly like that.
Okay.
Because in your SEO research, and you want this little tiny trickle of searches. You don't want to get lost in the 7,000, 10,000, 50,000, 2.6 million searches per month. You don't want to get lost in that crowd. You want to find the questions that get between 10 and 200 searches per month.
Wow.
The really low ones. Because what you've done in that case, let's just compare that to the 7,000 search result one. You've eliminated 7,990 of your competition.
So talk about the video. Why is the video even better?
Because here's this little thing that I absolutely love that seems like a conspiracy theory, but it really isn't. Just take a wild guess as to what the number one search engine is.
G. Google.
It starts with a G.
Google.
Yeah.
Google. Dog pile.
Right. So Google would definitely be the number one search engine. The number two search engine in the world is YouTube.
As a search engine?
As a search engine. And
okay, yes.
Who owns YouTube?
Makes sense.
Google.
Makes sense.
I'll tell you exactly how I use it 9 times out of 10. I've
Mhm.
got that little yellow light on my car dash. I find out what that code is. I go to Google and say, okay, what's a P
You
0342?
right.
It
You're
tells me what
right.
a P0342 is. I'm like, okay, well, how do I fix that? Well, you need to do this, this, or this. Okay, well, let's go over to YouTube and
Yep.
find out how to swap out a so and such on a this year make and model car.
Right.
And you have the instructions on YouTube. So between the two, people are specifically looking for stuff.
Yeah.
They want to know about either, excuse me, they want to know about either nutrition because you're a nutritionist and a workout guru. They want to know about exercises. They want to know about financial advice. They want to know about what is it that they want to know about that you do. Find the questions that they are already asking and the way and answer them. Give them your answer. And the way I like to describe it is, let's say somebody's going out on a cruise. They're on the boat, and the boat's pushed away from the dock, but they're really not sure where they want the boat to go. They're thinking, okay, maybe I like tropical, I like beaches, maybe a little hiking. Could that be what, one of 50,000 islands?
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
okay. Well, as they start to narrow down their choices and they start getting really specific with their questions, they end up at one specific island. They've narrowed it down to one specific island. And as the ship pulls up, there you are on the shore with your circle of flowers ready to put over their shoulders. You're already there
Wow, cool.
because you have answered that specific question that they finally got around to asking. And when you find that up ahead of time and cater your videos and your podcast and your blog articles to that question, all of a sudden these little 10, 20, 50, 70, 100, 110, 130 searches every month become a whole bunch of little trickles that start pointing to you.
So let's talk about that. So that means you've got to have a good video, and there are a lot of things involved in good video, and it
Mhm.
doesn't have to be super expensive. It doesn't have to be wait until I have all the equipment to start, and that's where you come in.
That exactly.
Talk about why people are coming to your channel.
The big thing is a lot of people get tripped up on the technology.
Yeah.
And especially when I stepped into video, just video, forget about cameras.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Cameras used to be, this little button on top, and then you push the thing underneath to go to the next piece of film. That was it. Two
Wow.
buttons.
Yes.
Okay. You remember those Instamatics? Remember those Kodak Instamatics? Now, these cameras have like, I don't know how, I'm looking at one right now and I don't even know how many buttons it has on it, probably 30 or
Mhm.
40 buttons on it. And then in the program inside it, there are probably another 1,000, 1,500 options available.
Right.
I mean, these are mini computers catered specifically to picture taking and video taking. And the other thing is, the big thing that really frustrates me is when people get tripped up in the gear, and even the video editing programs, though they have a million buttons, knobs, and switches and options and stuff like that. I mean, don't even talk to me about color correction. That's insane. Don't talk to me about motion graphics. That's crazy. I'm probably, if it's not a drag and drop that I can put into place, I ain't programming it. I'll tell you that right
Mhm.
now.
Mhm. Mhm.
Those are rabbit holes that just keep you distracted and overwhelmed. When it comes to setting up your shot and getting your videos edited, you can probably do it all right here.
Mhm.
And you've already bought it.
Yep.
You've got your camera right here, and chances are there's some preloaded software in there to help you edit it. That's all you need to get started.
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. Spend $50 and get a ring light and a tripod. All right, fine. You caught me. But basically, you can even do your lighting in front of a window. And if that's the case, spend $10 on a translucent shower curtain just to help diffuse the light a little bit.
Oh, wow.
Or go
Yeah.
outside underneath the tree. Take that shade, because that shade will soften the light. You don't want that harsh shadow or something like that coming across your face. Anything like that to just soften it. But 99.9% of the time, you can get started with what's in your pocket already.
Yeah. It's pretty powerful.
It really is. And now it's to the point where, I mean, they've already done, there's an independent film that has already been filmed completely and totally on an iPhone. It
Goodness.
was in the theaters for a little while. I'm still waiting for, say, the big studios like Sony Pictures or Columbia or you know, Paramount or somebody like that to actually film an entire, you know, like Marvel episode or something like that, Marvel movie or whatever, completely and totally on a cell phone. I really am.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's the next big battle.
Now, I went to, after watching one of your videos, because I've had trouble with trying to find a decent, free, until I know that I like it, video editing software. So I hear so many people say, well, I just used iMovie on my phone. Well, I can't edit much, just do. So tell people one of the best video software editing that they can use right now.
iMovie on your phone. I'm just
You
kidding. What
I was
I
going to say
would
that is
say,
not what you that is not
no.
what I wrote down a few days ago.
But to get started, again,
Right.
don't let any of this hold you up. If this
Yeah.
is something that you're going to do, I mean, I say it all the time, no excuses, just push that little red button.
Yes. Yes.
Okay? No excuses. Now, for a really, really good one that I absolutely love. And I'll be honest with you, I did not go the phone route. I did not use that software. I have not shot videos on my phone simply because I already had this other stuff. I'm used to multi-track editing when it comes to audio. So taking that extra leap into a video program with multi-track editing was not a hard shift for me to make.
Okay.
Okay. Multi-track editing may be a little overwhelming to some people,
Yeah.
but to your original question, the one program that I would recommend right off the bat, the company that makes it is called Blackmagic Design, and the program is called DaVinci Resolve.
That's what I was getting at. Yes.
Now, I absolutely DaVinci Resolve. There's two versions of DaVinci Resolve.
Uh-huh.
There is the flat out DaVinci Resolve, and then there's the DaVinci Resolve Studio.
Hmm.
The difference is DaVinci Resolve is free. This is a Hollywood caliber editing program that people are using to make feature films right now.
Wow.
And you can do that with DaVinci Resolve, the basic version, and that is free. DaVinci Resolve Studio has a few more bells and whistles that you may or may want. Honestly, you can get by with just DaVinci Resolve. You don't need the studio version. But if you wanted to pony up the studio version, that is a one-time payment of $295,
Not
295, 297. Okay, one time.
one time. I like that. These fees, these subscriptions are getting
Seriously.
ridiculous.
Seriously. And the absolute, I mean, there is so much that you can do with DaVinci Resolve. And like I said, I don't even touch the motion graphics or the color page. Well, I might touch the color page because there's one little button that I know how to use.
And you want to
Okay.
use it.
In one specific situation, if the video is overexposed or underexposed, I can touch this one little button and kind of change it and look at this graph and go, okay, that's it, I'm done. That's my color correction. It would literally take me less than a minute for all the color correction that I know. Okay. But I'm telling you now, the new DaVinci Resolve 18 and 18.5, it now makes subtitles for you.
Oh.
It now creates the transcript for you. These were other features that you would probably have to go somewhere online, upload your video or upload the audio or something like that, and that would transcribe it for you for a monthly fee of what, $19.99 or 25 or 30 or $50 a month or something like that. DaVinci Resolve does it. It is well worth the investment. And like I said, there's a bunch of buttons and bells and whistles that you're never even going to touch. You could probably spend the rest of your career just studying one button a day.
Oh goodness.
Okay, one
Yeah.
option a day, and it would probably still take you 5 or 6 years to get through the entire program. But if you start something on your phone and start to play with, you know, crossfades are already built in. The stuff that the cell phone program might call filters,
Yeah.
that's your color grading.
Wow.
That's your color
Cool.
grading. It takes care of it
Yeah.
for you. Just apply one. If you like it, move on. If you don't like it, change it. There's your color grading.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to audio and stuff like that, they've got some volume changes and things like that. Some of them have some more powerful enhancements like compression, maybe EQ, maybe even some background noise removal. Again, one of the things that's really going to save you a bunch of time, and this is what I preach and this is what I teach, start with a template. I mean, for
Okay.
crying out loud, you're doing a podcast. You know you got an intro, you know you got an outro.
Mm-hmm.
Have that set up.
Yeah.
You know you're going to edit your own voice. Your own voice already, you already know the EQ presets. Oh, that's the thing to use is presets. A bunch of EQ or compression or something like that. These are already built in. You just find the one that you like that makes you sound the best, hit save. Don't worry about the settings. Don't worry about the tweaks and stuff like that. And if it doesn't sound right, find another one.
Yeah.
Then you save all that together and you've got presets built into the channels. And now you've built your template. All you have to do is throw your guest in there and go through the process of picking a few presets and have those pre-programmed, but not selected. You don't know which specific preset, but you've got EQ and compression already set to your guest's vocal track. You know you're going to use it, so save it. You just don't know which preset you're going to use. And again, that'll probably take you all of 1 minute. Oh, that sounds good. Great. That's your criteria. That sounds good. And then stop. It's really simple to get started. It really is.
Okay. So for people that are at that point, they're like, okay, I'm ready to go. What's the number one tip they can do to make their videos look better right away?
Oh my gosh. I'd say the quickest thing that you could probably apply immediately, and 99% of this is actually what you do before you even hit record. Okay. Really cool effect that will set you apart from the crowd is a lighting effect that dates back to the 1600s. It's called the Rembrandt effect. Okay. The Rembrandt effect. It's named after Rembrandt, the painter. But what it is you can kind of see it here. I'm a little too bright here, but if you just Google Rembrandt, excuse me, if you just Google Rembrandt, you'll get a whole bunch of his portraits. And one thing that's consistent is he does this lighting thing where there's like one light off to the side. They're kind of turned. Their body is turned. They're looking at the camera or whatever. The light's a little bit over here. And then you see this right here?
Shadow. Yeah.
See that light? Well, the shadow's over here,
Right.
but there's a little bit of light right here that makes this little triangle. See that triangle? That's the Rembrandt triangle. That's the Rembrandt lighting effect. And seriously, you could do that with a 3-way lamp from your living room. Turn off all the lights, set it right there, just out of the screen view, turn that light on, and you'll have a very cinematic effect. And the way you adjust that is either use one of the lower settings or back it up a little bit. And that's how you would control the intensity of the light. But it's a very simple effect. No purchase necessary. If you have a ring light, you could do it with a ring light. It's really, really simple. It really is. And it will be some very shocking results. Not shocking, but some really dramatic results for something so simple.
Very good. Thank you so much for sharing it. Where can people go to keep up with you and get more tips on their videos?
Oh my gosh. I would say head on over to my the YouTube channel, especially check that out. It's just simply Nick Natarella. Be sure to get the one where the handle is at Nick Adwise. Okay.
All right.
I'm rebuilding my website, so adwisecreative.com is just, it's an under construction page, so that won't get you much.
Sounds good.
Between Facebook, Adwise Creative, and YouTube, Nick Natarella at Nick Adwise, you should be good.
Sounds great. Thank you so much for sharing. Come back when you've got more to tell us about.
Oh, thank you so much for asking. I've been wanting to hang out with you for a long time.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, and I hope this embarrasses you to the nth degree. You were one of my heroes. So.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. The wonderful world of radio, uniting and reuniting. Thank you so much.
Back in the studios after a 2-year hiatus.
See you soon.
Thank you. You too.